What's up, good people? Welcome to Watch the Game Sports. We're doing something a little different tonight. Um, we're doing a live reaction show where we talk about a few other things in the NBA concerning basketball, whatever comes to mind. And as as we speak, at the time of this recording, we are actually going to react to the NBA 2024 NBA draft. Like and subscribe and share the video. Watch the game sports. Things are getting good this summer. I'm your man, LA Cheatham.
What's up, good people? It's Benjamin Banneker. We tuned in to see all these guys we never even heard of because a lot of them from overseas. We got a lot of foreign prospects coming in. I see you, Malika, with the hair. You got a lot of extra hair going on. Malika Andrews, you doing a lot tonight. We doing a lot, but we gonna see. I'm interested to see, man, how many foreign players go because we've had many conversations of the domestic basketball player just ain't getting the love like he used to. So and I see we got the two French kids that's coming up, and I saw one of them average like 9 points a game. I was like, I guess that's the recipe: just be tall, go to France, and then you can come be a lottery pick in the NBA. I missed my boat. I missed my boat by 3 inches and about 8 hours of flights.
Well, Pen, I have not dialed into the stats, um, but I have a couple guys in mind. You talk about the two Frenchmen. Um, we talked about it a while ago. The most popular American-born basketball player in this draft is Bronny James.
Yeah.
Um, he may not even go in the first round, but he's the most popular player in this draft, hands down. I mean, American-born player at averages, I think just a little bit under 6 points a game. Bronny James, the most
and
popular.
and and dare I say it's not for his game.
Yeah, exactly. Some interesting things about this draft. Like you said, Atlanta's on the block.
Boo! You know I'm booing Adam Silver every time he come out.
They got let me see if I can get Zachariah Shaw. Doesn't roll off the tongue really well right now. But if he makes a name of himself in the NBA, I definitely won't have a problem announcing his name. So he's 6'9", out of France, same place as Victor Wembanyama. Going to Atlanta, 6'9". We're learning about these guys as we speak.
Yeah, real time, real time.
In real time, watch the game sport, live reaction to the NBA draft, 2024 NBA draft. And like I say, man, but specifically, there's some players in this draft that I've kind of picked out that we kind of have to focus on this draft. We don't really know a ton about these guys, but have an opportunity to watch the NCAA tournament, being able to watch college basketball this past season. There's a handful of guys I specifically
Your volume low. You got low. You went low volume again. It's still low.
nothing yet. Test is 1 2. Still low.
That's that's a little better, but it ain't your normal. Versatile defender, elite shooter, basketball instincts. Average 10.1 points a game. Well, I
Okay,
guess
what about now?
there
What
we
we
go. There we
okay.
in there. Now we in there.
All right. All right. So like I said, there's some guys in this draft that that I had the opportunity to watch in the college basketball tournament as well as the NCAA tournament as well as the college basketball season. One in particular that I have a relationship myself, a little bit of an older player, so I'm going to mention him first. His name is Jermaine Cruzenart out of the University of Oregon. I don't know if he's going to be drafted in these first two rounds of the NBA draft, but I'm certainly looking forward to him getting an opportunity in the summer league. And then other guys come to mind at the very at the top of the draft. We talk about Bronny James being the most one of the most popular American born basketball players in this year's draft for reasons I think everyone knows. Was a McDonald's All American, and they said that he was one of the first McDonald's All Americans to average 14 points a game and actually be a McDonald's All American.
Yeah,
So maybe a little bit of privilege going his way when you're talking about a lot of Bronny James. Me myself personally, I respect his ability as a role player. I think immediately if he gets picked up in the NBA, he'll probably be maybe a two-way player. But the word is that Clutch Sports don't want a two-way deal for Bronny James. For a guy that may not even go in the first and that maybe go into the second round, how can you make such demands? But there's neither here nor there.
yeah, man,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, that's what I've been saying all along. It just didn't look like he was a legit NBA prospect. But I mean, I think the majority of the audience watching tonight is watching to see if Bronny goes tonight. Number one, two, where he goes, and three, like because the field was so open. I don't think we've come into a draft without a consensus number one pick. Like earlier today, I was hearing Donovan Clingan could still go number one, and obviously he just didn't. And I'm hearing as far he could fall as far as seven. Like that's a big fluctuation as far as talent. I think in this year's draft. So I mean, but we doing our due diligence as watch the game sports here because this what it's about, man. It's about getting to know these guys. This might be the draft class where it's very underrated, but you get some gems up out of there. So I'm
yeah,
interested to see what these guys can do on the court. I'm interested to see who the Heat pick up. It's been a lot of talk about the Heat. Are they going to trade Jimmy? Are they going to extend Jimmy? Bam just got an extension today, I believe, 3 years. I forgot what the number was. They were in the Donovan Mitchell, sweepstakes, I guess you could say. So it's just a lot going on. We already saw Caruso get traded from the Bulls for Giddy.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
then another trade just happened. The Knicks picked up Mikal Bridges
yeah. I
earlier
saw
today.
that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so I
And they
mean,
also signed Ananobi signed his deal today. Well, I think 200 over 200 million bucks, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and then when you talk about the Heat, speaking of the Heat, the Miami Heat, they got the 15th and the 43rd pick in this draft as of right now. Um, Interesting to see what they're going to do. Like I said, for me and you personally, I think two teams that come to mind for you, the Miami Heat. By the way, that's my team I play with on 2K.
I
So I
played with the
mean, I
Timberwolves this year
yeah,
and
yeah,
the retro 92, 93 Bulls.
I play with the Heat on 2K because that's the lineup that I most understand. As of right now, this has been Alex Sarr, another Frenchman, has been drafted to the Washington Wizards. So Alex Sarr going to Washington with the second pick in the 2024 NBA draft. Um, but like we're talking about the Miami Heat, and then another team is the Chicago Bulls. I think the Bulls only have one pick in this draft, which is the 11th pick. It's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with that draft pick. And when you talk about the local stars, I brought up Jermaine Cruzenard from my own personal interest. But we talk about local stars. You got to talk about Terrence Shannon Jr. 6'6" guard
You a vet.
that can do a lot, get out on the passing lanes, can score the ball. Really good weak side defender. But it's not just basketball with Terrence Shannon Jr. Terrence Shannon Jr. went through an ordeal of an alleged rape case, and he apparently he beat the case. But how is it going to affect his draft stock in this draft? So that's another player, really good basketball player that I'm interested to see where he may end up. And the Bulls could probably use a young, big wing player such as he. I mean, he's what? How old is he? Terrence Shannon Jr. He is
I think
23 years old. So
yeah.
he was coming. He was coming. That's about a year later from a normal college kid coming out of college, playing a 3 or 4 year college career. So they're still getting him at a nice age where he can go out and contribute. And for him to end up on a team like the Bulls, they get bigger and athletic. They can stay big and athletic at the perimeter positions, and then it makes some other guys a little bit more expendable. You're talking about Zach Levine and DeMar DeRozan. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Bulls do with their 11th pick. There's been some talk about them trying to move up and get Donovan Clingan. So it's going to be really interesting just to speak on some a local interest when it comes to this draft. So once again, Alex Sarr going number 2 to the Washington Wizards. So
I'd like to see the Bulls. Well, first of all, I saw some earlier today talking about they was trying to see if they could mend the whole Zach Levine relationship. And I think we going on like the second or third year of this. Like, just cut bait. They doing a lot of things that Gar and Pax was doing in their tenure there, and then they got the new management staff in there, and they just kind of repeating the same cycle. So I'd like to see them just go ahead and move off of Zach. Um, but we'll see what I really would have liked them see them get Sar. I'm looking at some of his tape right now. I mean, athletic defender. They could definitely use that. I mean, especially putting him in a position where the Bulls are a playing team, right? They was a
they
playing
were,
team
yeah.
last
I
year.
think for the past 2 seasons they've been a
Yeah, yeah,
play-in team.
yeah. And I gotta believe that the Bulls, as defunct, not even defunct, but just dysfunctional as the organization appears to be from the local fan base, viewpoint, Washington's organization, man, they wasn't good as an organization when Michael Jordan was there. So,
Yeah,
so I kind of feel, my heart kind of go out to Alex. So I mean, is you in the league, you in the show, but
yeah.
man, that's not the organization to go to. I mean, we saw Bradley Beal get up out of there, John Wall. I mean, the best they did was what, a second round appearance, and that was maybe like 5-6 years ago. They just yeah, man.
One thing about okay, Alex Sarr goes number 2 to the Washington Wizards. Talking about the Washington fan base, they had the number 2 pick in the NFL draft, and now they got the number 2 pick in the NBA draft.
But I think
Um,
I think we both on the same page with the football team. And since Dan Snyder got out of there, and I know they got Magic and some other people, I think we expect the Washington Redskins football team Commanders to to one change their name and finally get a good name settled on something. But I think they're going in the right direction. The Washington Wizards, on the
yeah,
other hand, man, we
yeah,
man, we better put a team together on 2K.
yeah. Washington Wizards, they have a guard, the point guard on that team that comes to mind. Um, I can't remember his name. I think he came out of Duke, and he was in Memphis. Played with Memphis.
You talking about
And,
it's not Tyus, right? Is it Tyus Jones?
yeah, Tyus Jones. He played with Memphis, and I always thought he needed his own team, and then he ends up in Washington. I'm like, wow. I would have liked to see him be in Chicago. So an update here with the number 3 pick. The Houston Rockets pick up Reed Shepard out of University of Kentucky. Reed Shepard is considered to be the best shooter in this draft. I think Reed is about 6. What is Reed Shepard's
Let me go
height?
back to
Well, I don't
Reed
have him. I
Shepard.
think maybe about 6'3", 6'4", something like that. But they saying he's the best shooter in this draft. I think I'm correct on his measurable as far as his height. But here it is, an American-born basketball player. He's the first American-born player in this draft to be picked up by the Houston Rockets. Going to play for Coach Ime Udoka. And the Houston Rockets might be an interesting basketball team real soon. They've been building really heavy in the draft since they moved away from
Harden.
James Harden. Yeah. So the next year or two, I can see the Houston Rockets being next year's New York Knicks.
I mean,
Not
they.
not not a second seed, not the second seed New York Knicks, because they are playing in the West. But I could see them probably challenging to get into the play-in next season because Ime Udoka is proven to be a very good basketball coach, and he's proven to be real good with young players. So I'm expecting for the Houston Rockets to turn around and real soon, and Reed Shepard could be a part of that
But
going
I
to the
mean,
Houston Rockets.
did you catch the quick shot of the Arkansas head basketball coach John Calipari? Did you see him up there? But
Yeah,
no,
you know that's what John did at Kentucky. He got guys to the league, and there was some speculation that Reed Shepard may stay uh, because he's his dad and the new coach at Kentucky, Pope, are really good friends, and I think Pope is a real good friend of the family, former teammate of Reed Shepard's dad. But he went on ahead and he went to the pros, and it's paying off. He's a number 3 pick in the NBA draft.
yeah,
I mean,
you can't
how
pass
much
that
better
up.
could they have done? You can't
Yeah,
pass that up.
you
You know
can't
what I'm
pass that up.
saying? So you can go to Kentucky and visit anytime you want. Now you know what I'm saying. You good. Reed Shepard, number 3 pick to the Houston Rockets in the 2024 NBA draft. Um,
Are the salaries in the NBA, the lottery, the draft, are they weighted like kind of like the NFL is? Because like the top pick get the most money, then it go. Is it the same way?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Hey, look, we just I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't get into the money, the tiers of money in sports. I just watch the games. I don't get into the tiers. I don't trying to get into things that I really don't really want to take out a whole lot of time to understand. But I'm not sure how the pay scale goes when you talk about tiers being drafted high in the NBA and then being drafted in the NFL. Because this is the one thing that we've talked about before. The NFL draft and the NBA draft does not have the same impact.
At all?
What I mean by that, when you pick number 1 through 10 in the NFL, you're expected to make an immediate impact towards winning. In the NBA, you could get picked up number 3. You could be traded by the end of the night. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying? That's
yeah.
just how it goes. You could be traded by the end of the same night in which you get drafted. And then in 2 years, if you don't get traded that night, you can just be part of a new deal or part of another package deal. So these kids or these guys, young men, are going to have to really make their own individual impacts on their franchises because if they don't win right away, they have to impact them in other ways. I mean, but being consistent, obviously, doing the things they were being drafted for. Because who's the last number 1 pick in the NBA draft that went to their team and just turned it around immediately. One guy that comes to mind with me is maybe Anthony Davis.
When we say turn it around, are we talking they made the playoffs? Because I know Bron didn't
Yeah,
make the
you know,
playoffs.
just even if it's the bottom of the playoffs. I mean, just making an impact. You're the number one pick in the NBA draft. Chances are, unless you pulled a Ryan Post or something like that, or
But that can I don't even think that
those
can
teams
happen
are
in the
usually in the
NBA.
bottom of the cell.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Ryan Poles there. I don't even think that can happen in the NBA. And to your point, like when you a lottery pick in the NBA, 9 times out of 10, unless it's the trade, well, a good team, the guy traded somebody and they got a draft pick, an unprotected draft pick, and they end up picking like number 6. Say the Boston Celtics did that this year and they got a draft pick, and that's the only way we really see that happen. Because remember, we saw was it Darko Milicic get picked what, third, second by the
Yeah,
Detroit Pistons, and the Pistons, I believe, they was coming off a championship that year. I mean, his career didn't really pan out. They passed up on Melo. Bad, that was bad.
yeah.
But yeah, you don't really see it. But in NFL, like you said, if you pick one, I think any pick in the first round, you expected to make an immediate impact. We got the fourth pick, the Spurs. I'm actually interested in this to see how they're gonna build around Wimby.
Wimby. Stephon Castle out of Yukon guard. Um,
And they were saying
he,
he couldn't
he
shoot enough.
yeah, he's number 4 pick in the draft. See, this is what I mean. So he may not be expected to make an immediate impact if he makes it to training camp, or he may be traded by the end of the night. Who knows?
Yeah, I could see that because of what I was seeing, the mocks, they were saying that Stephon Castle he could go right here to the Spurs, but the Spurs are heavy on spacing the floor and getting shooting, and they didn't think that his shooting was going at a high enough clip for him to be brought in. So this may be a pick that gets traded or flipped later on. We're gonna see. Um,
Yeah,
I don't. Do you remember him on UConn? I remember. What's the point guard number 2? I remember.
Newman.
Yeah, him. The what's the white boy? He could hoop, like he just knew how to play the game. Number 12. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They just
he,
had a really good system. I mean, Klingon, he couldn't be denied. But it's interesting. He gets picked ahead of Klingon, and Klingon was probably the best, the best player on the team
yeah,
at
yeah,
UConn. So Stephon Castle goes before Klingon in the draft. This is something if you watch UConn, that's not a prediction you make. And you're looking at the two different players as far as impact,
right,
because Klingon had you you you, you want to say Klingon had a more of an impact than he did, but when you look at this pick, you're not gonna put Klingon and Wimby on the same team. So this kid makes San Antonio maybe uh, better from a defensive standpoint at the guard position, and I'd imagine he's going to have to play point guard. So he makes them better at the guard position, improving the overall team defense. When you think about Wembley being probably the best shot blocker in the NBA right now, so it fits for me because of that one thing right there. Because he can probably go in and improve the defensive rotations coming off the bench right away. And then we talk about Klingon. Um, I'm thinking we may see him come off the board real soon. But the NBA draft that's just what it is. I mean, like you said, he may even be traded. Castle may even be traded by the end of the night. Who
right,
knows?
right. I mean, they all drafting off of potential, but I mean, I think if it's me at the Spurs, I'm trying to get that 1-2 punch the core that I can build around. Like we saw Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. We saw that core. We saw pretty much every team in the league got 2 guys. who are their guys? And it just don't sound like or look like this guy could get enough buckets to be that guy because they look like they drafted him on defensive potential,
Yeah.
perimeter
When you think
defense.
about Pop, this is Pop still the coach. This draft pick makes sense when you talk about Pop. Now, as of right now, so Hurley, the coach at UConn, is standing side by side doing an interview with Stephon Castle. And this can be an interesting pick because I'm going to spin this a little bit. Greg Popovich is up there in age, so maybe 1 or 2 seasons left in San Antonio. Who knows? But Stephon Castle goes to the Spurs. Dan Hurley turns the Laker job down.
I'm with you. I'm following.
I felt as if it was a good decision to turn it down because I don't think the Lakers are looking for a head coach.
No,
Um,
we got
but
Woj. What Woj talking about?
I felt like Dan Hurley would be a better fit in San Antonio if the opportunity presented itself. And now with the rest of those young guys on that roster, if it would be maybe more of a fit, he'd be able to join one of his former players, give or take a year. Just spinning it a little bit, trying to, you know,
When
see, you know,
when he
see ahead of yourself a little bit.
when he turned that Lakers deal down, it came out. I think they offered him 5 years, 70 million. I was like, he's gonna end up going to the league. I think they don't have these interests for no reason. Like he was testing the water to really see.
Yep.
So it's gonna
Hmm.
be more than 5 years, 70 million. And again, the Lakers don't want a head coach. They want kind of
Hmm.
like a ceremonial figurehead, somebody to be out there that can
Yep.
answer the question. And JJ Redick is a great communicator with his podcast and what he was doing as an analyst or whatever. They know if they put JJ Redick up there in front of the LA media, he'll be able to hold his own. They probably didn't get that sense so much from Darvin Ham when he got questions about his rotations and things like that. So I definitely think him going to San Antonio, what you said about 2 years, that's definitely possible because San Antonio's it's a solid organization. They not gonna be
Yep.
moved by what the fan base and knee
Yep.
jerk reactions. He'll be in that position that he can really mold that San Antonio Spurs
Yep.
program. And plus, we've seen Dan Hurley and his sideline antics and how he coaches. That'll work because Pop kind of got that same
Yep.
MO.
Yep.
That'll work in San Antonio. They'll buy that. But you can't go to
Yeah.
LA doing all that. They'll have you out of there
Mhm.
before the All-Star break.
Well, it's in LA. It just doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit the culture. I mean, they want to. JJ Redick, he fits the aesthetics of
Oh
a
yeah, the Pat
just
Riley hair. Yeah,
yeah. I
he got
mean,
it.
he fits. The whole storyline fits the LA Lakers. And with the Lakers, it's really, I don't think it's about winning championships. They talked about winning championships during the press conference, at least he did. I think it's more about LeBron James, which brings up an interesting point in time in our conversation because that gives us an opportunity to just talk about the Lakers and talk about coaching changes in general because Detroit is on the clock. They don't have a coach right now. They just fired their coach, Monty Williams. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with they pick. So let's see, they on the clock right now, about to make a selection. But go ahead.
ain't, ain't that? I mean, as the head coach coming, well, the potential new head coach coming into the Pistons, wouldn't you want to be the coach already before the draft?
Yeah, that's generally what you may think, but they just
See,
picked
I'm
up Ron
glad.
Holland, the
I wonder.
second
Yeah,
of G League Elite Ignite, G League Ignite. I don't know his
don't
position.
don't be surprised if he gets flipped because they already got Jaden Ivey from Purdue. They got Cade Cunningham. This
Yeah.
kid, I know he's like this.
Yep.
He's 19 years old. I think he's 1 year out of high school. I think he
Hmm.
averaged, what was it? Maybe like
They
north
got
of
him at
15 points. Yeah.
yeah, they got him at 19.5 per game
Yeah.
with G League Ignite. So Ron Holland the second going to the Detroit Pistons. They don't have a coach. Um, Forget it. Just who's running that team?
Trajan
GM just
Langdon.
Trajan Langdon
Yeah.
running the team.
He just got
Yeah,
that
but
job. He just left Atlanta and took that job.
yeah. So talk about just spoke about Dan Hurley. That's another spot he could end up in where he could go and pretty much be himself, still be on the east, in the Midwest, not too far away. I can see that. I can see. I'm telling you, Dan Hurley. I can see Dan Hurley in Detroit too. I mean, not right away because I think he's gonna do this UConn thing, but who knows?
Well,
But
he
I
got to,
can
yeah, he
see,
got to get that 3P. He got to try and run
yeah,
that back. Yeah.
I can see Dan Hurley in a place like Detroit as well. I think we pretty much resign to the fate that he'll end up in the NBA eventually as a coach. But Ron Holland going to the Detroit Pistons. So does okay? So they don't have a coach. This could be an opportunity for Sam Cassell as well because he can just go coach basketball. The Laker thing, they don't want a coach. They're not looking for a coach. So a lot of people complaining that they didn't give Sam Cassell an opportunity. Sam Cassell is not what the Lakers were looking for. They're not looking for a basketball coach, in my opinion. So the Pistons need to call Sam Cassell and do an interview with
I,
Sam Cassell. Coming off he's got what, 4 championships, 3 as a player, 1 as a coach, right?
wait. I know he
So,
got two with Houston. Who he get the other one with?
well, I'm thinking it's 4. Maybe he's on the coaching staff with 2. I'm not
Okay.
sure, but
Yeah.
he got rings. I may be giving him credit for more than one, but for one too many. But we know for a fact he has rings. And
If I'm Sam though, I don't want this job. I don't want the Detroit Pistons job because they just brought Monty in, and Monty Williams was kind of highly regarded around the league. I mean, he did a great job in New Orleans. Phoenix
yeah,
picked him up, and he got to the finals. He couldn't, he lost in 6 games. Then I think he got beaten the first round the next year versus Dallas, lost game 7 at home. And then he couldn't do nothing when he had KD and Book. They got him up out of there. They go to Detroit. Monty Williams can coach basketball. He was there 1 year. I mean, you can't blame all this on Monty Williams because I think they got too many of the same parts. They don't have a well filled out roster. What they want? They won 16 games, I think they said.
yeah.
16 and 66. Like, if I'm Sam Cassell, that's not the job that I want to go with as my first job. Maybe, I mean, what other vacancies are open right now? I know we got the Pistons, the
Well, the
Lakers just
Cleveland just
filled.
filled Cleveland just filled their job.
And why did
So
they get rid of him?
I think it came down to your boy
Donovan.
Donovan Mitchell. I think they had a lot to do with the changes they made in Cleveland. And I can don't be surprised if Cleveland move some guys, trade some guys. My homeboy may be on the move. Uh, Garland, Darius Garland.
They just got rid of Sexton to let
Yeah,
that be Garland's team.
yeah. Well, but then he went out and got
Donovan.
Donovan Mitchell. So it's gonna be interesting to see if they move Garland. I think that tells us a lot about the philosophy or the relationships within the franchise. It tells us a lot. But um, Cleveland, I forgot who they hired, but they fill their coaching spot. So if I'm not mistaken, Detroit might be the one team without a coach right now. Charlotte's on the clock right now.
Michael
Um,
Jordan.
Michael Jordan's former team, right? I
He's
think
he's
he,
my he's minority owner now. He ain't majority no more. They just hired Kenny Atkinson. That used to be the Nets coach.
in
Um,
Cleveland. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
before KD and Kyrie and all them went there.
Okay. Yeah. So you know, let's touch on the Lakers a little bit. Okay, they got the 17th and the 55th pick in this NBA draft. By the end of this uh, show, we probably won't get that far down the line. I'm hoping, I'm hoping that we can at least get to the Bulls pick. And we got to be extremely lucky because we won't be on that long tonight. But we'd be extremely lucky to get to the Miami Heat pick. But with the Lakers having the 17th and the 55th pick in the NBA draft, shout out to Etwan Moore. He was the 55th pick years ago to the
Is that
Boston
why he won
Celtics.
55?
Yeah, that's why he wore 55. He was the 55th pick to the Boston Celtics. I forget what year it was, but Etwan Moore, shout out to Smooth, Etwan Moore, East Chicago, Indiana. I gotta keep,
I, j-
representing.
I just saw
But
him on he was on Jeff Teague's podcast the other day.
yeah, my man, one of my ball players, Donovan. I mean, one of my ball players, Dominique Murphy, one of the best juniors in the state of Indiana, about 6'5", um, guard forward. He told me the same thing. He said he saw him on the podcast. I haven't seen it yet myself. I'm gonna have to look it up and check it out. But the Lakers got the 17th and the 55th pick in the draft. It's gonna be interesting because it might not happen while we're on. But where do you have the picking Ronnie James?
17. 17.
Shout, shout out to my man Verdell Gray. Verdell is a big LeBron fan. He say LeBron is the GOAT. I enjoy talking basketball with Verdell. We had some laughs, and but he believes that LeBron is the GOAT, and through social media messaging, we send each other daily texts on who we think the GOAT is. It's Michael Jordan all day long for me, but me and Verdell go at it about that. So Bronny James, you got him going at 17. I was being real comical, but I was saying, well, if you want him that bad, why don't you just trade up? Why don't you just trade up and go get him? You know what I'm saying? Really impress LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Just give LeBron what he want. Go get him. Go get him. Charlotte on the clock. They about to make their pick, number 6, and it is wow, another kid out of France. I can't even pronounce this kid's name. But I'm not going to even attempt to. I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce his name. Can you call that out?
Woo. Yeah.
Well, he
I
went to
got,
the Charlotte Hornets at
and I
number
got,
6, pick number 6. Another Frenchman going to the NBA,
I'm telling you,
uh,
just
a
be
top
tall.
10 pick in the league.
Just
Yeah,
be tall and catch
yeah.
that 8 hour flight to Paris. You got a chance to make the NBA as a lottery pick. Because
You gotta be over 6'8". Gotta be over
look
six
at this,
eight though.
9 points a game, 4 rebounds, and
Hey
he's the
man.
sixth pick in the National Basketball Association
Yeah.
2024 draft. Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
We
It's
know dudes at export that got better stats than
hey man.
that.
Hey, 4 rebounds a game, one steal, 1.2. Is that steals per game? Yeah, 1.2 steals per game. But okay, he's a forward at 6'8". So everybody pretty much has the same skill set in this draft. You got to admit, shooting, passing, and dribbling, ball handling is a skill set throughout the league. I don't care. It's positionless. If you can be tall and do them things, it'd be great. To be small, you have to be able to guard. You got to be able to really shoot. I think it would help if you're smaller. When I say small, I'm saying 6'5" and under. If you small going into the NBA now, you got to be able to be very athletic. You got to be able to shoot the ball. It would help if you could run the team, but with positionless basketball, they're not really. asking for that anymore. But if you can have the type of personality to go into the NBA and be able to gather the troops and get your team on another level from a leadership standpoint, that's an intangible now. That's not really something they're really looking for in the draft pick now. So if you're gonna be a guy under 6'5", if you can go in with some leadership skills, with the ability to shoot the ball, maybe some athleticism, but a very special, intangible to be a leader, and you can rally your teammates. I think that gives you more value as a smaller guard in today's NBA, because positionless basketball is on and cracking. So you got to be able to do something else. You got to be an extension of the coach. It's always good to have an extension of the coach on the floor, and I think that's probably more prevalent now with everybody being able to dribble, pass, and shoot the basketball. Being such a premium in the NBA with positionless basketball going on right now. Seventh pick in the draft going to Portland right now. They on the clock.
They saying
Guy
it's gonna
come to
be Bennett.
mind is Scoop Henderson. Uh Man, there was a lot of buzz about Scoop. They traded away
Dame,
Dame
not to the
and
Heat.
made the made the way for Scoop, and now they on the clock with the seventh pick in the draft. They keep putting the camera on Donovan Clingan there. I guess they expecting him to go soon. In Portland, they have what's the big center? Um,
Uh, Aiton,
Greg, what's
DeAndre Aiton.
DeAndre Aiden.
You was going
So
Greg Oden. You went back.
yeah, man, yeah, man. It's been a while. It's been a while, and
Kevin
like I say, we
Duckworth.
get we getting the chance. Yeah, shout out and rip to the late Kevin Duckworth, double zero, the original double zero in Portland, I think. So Portland on the clock.
And to your point, you said if you're gonna be a small guy, and we saying small, we saying under 6'5". Reed Shepard was the smallest one. He was 6'2". Everybody else been
Yeah,
over that.
yeah. So Donovan Clingan goes to the Portland Trailblazers. We probably got about another 10 minutes of this coverage that we going into tonight. Um, So since we want to wind down soon, we won't unfortunately we probably won't even get to the Bulls pick. Um,
Bulls 11, right? We only
they
got four
number
more picks.
11.
Yeah, we could we
Okay.
can make we can make it to the Bulls. I'm
Oh,
hoping the Bulls take Dalton Connect.
yeah, I mean the way this draft is going, San Antonio got the eighth pick. They coming up soon again. That's two picks in the top 10 for San Antonio. They keep it. So, but Donovan Clingan, a lot of there's a lot of Chicago media, sports media, I should say, that wouldn't mind that pick, Donovan Clingan going to the Bulls. Um, and the Bulls, I think they only have one pick at number 11. So if they could get Donovan Clingan, that would be great. 6'6". I talked about another kid that was 6'6", and it's Terrence Shannon Jr.
Oh, I thought you was
Uh,
going Michael Jordan on that. We was
well,
talking about the
no, no,
Bulls
no.
6'6".
We ain't talking about the GOAT. We just talking about the prospects, that's on the board right now. Let's see if I missed out on another interesting player in the NBA draft that's still on the board. Um, Dalton Connect, we talked about him. I believe he's a really athletic. They consider him an athletic Tyler Hero. He might be a couple inches taller than Tyler. What
I
you
think
think?
he like 6'7",
He
I
he's
believe.
6'6", 6'7". They got him listed as 6'7".
And
Yeah,
I mean he was the SEC they got
player of
him
the year.
yeah, I'm looking at his
Yeah,
stuff. Well, they got him at 6'5" on the draft, the NBA.com. So
Yeah.
I guess they took his 2 inches away. But yeah, no, I mean I know he went to junior college and then he came for his 1 year at Tennessee and him who did Tennessee lose to in the tournament? Because it was him and I forget who they played, but they was going back and forth. It was a duel between them two. Uh,
Tennessee, I think they got to the. Did they get to the Elite Eight?
I believe so. They didn't lose to Purdue though. That's another one. Zach Edey's still on
They
the
did.
board.
They lost to Purdue. They lost
Yeah,
to Purdue. That's who knocked Tennessee off. Speaking of Purdue,
yeah.
because this guy was going to come to mind eventually, Zach Edey, who has decided not to go to the draft and sit in the green room in Brooklyn. He said he was staying in West Lafayette, and he's gonna, see who calls his name, on college campus. Got that big deal. They talking about this big deal he got with KFC. So, they probably, got some herbs
Some
and spices set out
KFC
tonight
caters.
for the NBA draft. So with Zach Edey, that's a kid that not so much a kid. Zach Edey's 22 years old, about the normal age of what we were used to seeing when guys would go 4 years in the college basketball game and end up getting drafted. So still good value in draft in Zach Edey, but he's a low post player. He
I
done.
was seeing Toronto was supposed to be picking, looking at him.
I can see that he is from Canada.
That's
He is
makes
from
sense.
Canada, so
Yeah,
I can see that being a public relations move, and it might be a good move for them as a change of pace when you want to just get a bucket. I don't know how long it's going to take him to get his game up to speed with his perimeter game and handling the basketball. But at 7'4", he's a load, big load. He's one guy, one of few guys that I've ever seen shake Shaquille O'Neal's hand and make him look small. The other one was we
yeah.
got Yao Ming. Yep, Yao Ming was the only guy that would tower over Shaquille O'Neal and make him look small. And Zach Edey was another. So San Antonio's on the clock. You say we're gonna try and wait around, see what the Bulls do. Pop doing this thing, in the war room for the San Antonio Spurs. And it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with this pick. Um,
Look at Pop. Pop, he got a T-shirt and some sweatpants.
hey man, Popovich and Bill Belichick, you know, they don't, they just about their business, man. They just about their business.
Is that Tim Duncan off in the back? Yeah, Tim got
I,
a
I, I
shirt on and some red shorts.
I wouldn't be
Terrell,
surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Isn't Tim Duncan
he on the
in
coaching staff.
organization in some type of capacity?
Yeah, he on the
He,
coaching staff.
okay. You can tell it's been we don't watch. I don't watch a ton of NBA, but hopefully I get better about it. We just getting ready for football season over here. That's what we're doing right now. We're practicing, building this chemistry up, and trying to see what our local with Joe Miami Heat, which we might not have a chance to do on air tonight, but at least I appreciate you sitting around and waiting to see what the Bulls do. I know you got some things going on tonight, but
Yeah, we got to see what the Bulls do. And I don't even think we can call them my Miami Heat just yet because I told you I boycotted last year. I got to see how this summer go to see if I'm about to sign my fan option for this year.
yeah. Okay, so far, of the guys that I pointed out that I have a interest in this draft, Alex Sarr has gone off the board at number 2 to Washington. Zachariah Richard, I think I did a little bit better the second attempt. He went number 1 overall to the Atlanta Hawks. Donovan Clingan goes to Portland. Dalton Connect is still on. I can see Dalton Connect going to San Antonio. Let's see.
At this point, I really want him to fall to the Bulls, man.
Yeah, yeah. Rob Dillingham goes to San Antonio. I just can't see. San Antonio keeping a lot of they got to be moving off of some of the guys
That's what
that's
it
on their
makes sense. Yeah.
that's on their roster right now. Because they're really young already, and maybe not tonight, but I can see them moving off some guys either that they're drafting tonight or some guys that's already been on the roster for a while or a year or two, because this makes them smaller. Um,
Is that Rich Paul? Yeah, you see Rich.
so they went out and got two guards right now. Two guards for San Antonio.
Yeah, I gotta think one of these guys gonna get flipped.
Yeah. So I I'm with you now. I can see them moving a guy. Probably not one of these guys, but somebody's got to get moved in San Antonio because the backcourt is getting crowded. The team is getting smaller. So they got smaller tonight. Most definitely got smaller tonight. After you talk about Victor Wembanyama, Victor is about what 7'4", 7'5". This kid 6'1". Rob Dillingham,
And how the other kid they got was was
he's
Stephon
six
Castle,
five. Yeah, I think he's 6'4", 6'5". He's a
six
big
six
guard.
six six
Yeah,
210.
yeah, he's a big guard. So this guy, Rob Dillingham out of Kentucky, really athletic. Um,
Oh, no.
Played with Reed Shepard at Kentucky, of course, and for Coach Calipari, he's on his way to San Antonio as of right now. Now, if you're
Poor.
watching us tonight, this you watching us right now as we speak. This is going on, but these guys could be gone by the time you actually watch this on the playback. These guys
Yeah,
can either one of these guys in this draft could be traded by the time the playback hits, and I mean as early as midnight.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, because
it,
I
it can
just don't
happen.
see the lot. I don't pretty much two of the same guy.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I
Um, let's talk about the. Okay, so these guys they're gonna be going into the summer league in a couple of weeks. I want to say.
do you watch Summer League?
Yeah, yeah. I enjoy watching summer league basketball because it's an opportunity to see guys really play hard and compete. It's a different caliber of basketball. We talk about NBA basketball in February on a Tuesday night,
Yeah,
and in the summer league, these guys really getting at it. They really getting at it. They playing hard. The shot making is evident that there's a lot more missed shots in summer league basketball games because these guys aren't, for the most part, they're not the shooters. They don't shoot at that level for the most part because you got the high picks in the draft, and then they fill those rosters out with either guys at the extreme bottom of the roster
yeah.
or
Undrafted
or
free agent. Yeah,
undrafted free agents or even guys from overseas looking to come in to the league and get a look. So yeah, I watch the summer league and I watch it with intent, and I'm gonna be looking really forward to seeing the summer league this season because I'm hoping that Jermaine Cousinard is in the summer league, and I'm hoping he can play particularly well.
well, we
Um,
hoping to get drafted tonight. I mean, well, t-
well, yeah, well,
in these first
that
two
too,
rounds. Yeah,
that too. It's 58 or 60 picks in this draft. Who knows? But when you talk about, I'm looking forward to seeing summer league ball for that reason. I want to see. I like to see how things develop from high school to college, and then eventually to the pros. Because going back, as much as a Michael Jordan fan I am, um, I appreciate going back and watching young Mike, Carolina Mike. You know what I'm saying? I like to see what guys used to be before they became pros or great. So I like to see guys develop. Zach Edey
Oh, they
goes
take
to the
Memphis.
Memphis Grizzlies. So he's
Didn't
off
see
the
that
board at
coming.
number
Yeah.
9.
But you know what? It kind of makes sense because they don't have Steven Adams no more. Steven Adams is on Houston. Steven Adams is a little long in the tooth now too, because I mean I think his best years was with OKC, and then
Hmm.
he had some injury years with Memphis. So I see it for the big body, making sense to uh to be able to clog up space, to be able to get some rebounds. But again, how is his game going to translate? Ja want to get up and down and run and push. It don't seem like Ja want to be. All right, Edie, get down there on the block. Let me throw it to you. Like, it don't
Yeah.
seem like that's gonna be the style of play that they utilize. But we gonna have to we
We'll
gonna have to
see
see.
because that's one thing with the drafting of Zach Edey, it brings up 7'3", 300 pounds of Zach Edey out of University of Purdue, West Lafayette. Shout out to my coach Ala East Chicago Central. That's his squad. I'm I'm a Purdue fan, but I was a Purdue fan big when the big dog
Oh
was
yeah,
playing at Purdue,
and
and of
Quanzo
course when
Martin.
Quanzo Martin, the big dog, Etwan Moore, um, and yeah, Robbie Hummel, the guys back when they were playing. I was a big Purdue fan. Then I still, you know, I watch them, but I won't say I'm not as diehard as I used to be. So, but with Zach Edey going to the Memphis Grizzlies, you talking about a post up guy that's pretty much a post up guy. At
Yeah,
the number 9 pick in the draft, do you think they're gonna stick with Zach Edey, or do they throw him in the G League, or does he end up overseas in 2 years? That's the interesting thing with Zach Edey. Then the prototypical center, is he coming back? People say the best player in the world right
it's
now
Jokic.
is
Yeah,
Jokic. So who's developing the next prototype Joker? I don't see Zach Edey as that guy because he
me
don't
either.
have the.
The
I don't see
range
him. I don't
or
see
the
him with
skill
the
set.
range or the ball handling or the skill set, like you said. But that just might be what makes Joker special and separates him from the rest of the centers in the NBA. Embiid, Joker, same position, but they play two different styles of basketball. But at the end of the day, is the traditional center not traditional center, but is the center coming back with value? Because we went to small ball for so long,
Right.
now the 7 footer can come back. But with Zach Edey, I can see him playing in spurts. Like we need a bucket. I can see him like leading the second team. Coming off the bench, leading the second team, and being a rim protector if he can be on defense.
Hopefully he's not. What's the center the Bulls used to have? Remember Omar Ashik.
Yeah,
The
yeah, mm,
he took his money and went to Houston, and then we ain't never hear about him no more.
yeah,
Hopefully it's not that Andrea, whoever parted her hair, it
yeah.
was Michael Jordan and Michael Jackson, Dirty Diana style, boy. It's in there, boy. But who we got coming up now? We got the Jazz, but it's gonna be
Utah
interesting.
picked up Cody Williams out of University of Colorado.
That's a
So
safe pick. That was a
so he
media
been
pick.
hanging with Prime. He been hanging with
Yeah,
Prime all year.
that was a media pick. That was a fan base get them fired up. Somebody close.
Yeah. The kid might be able to ball a little bit though. The Utah Jazz is one of them teams that's probably still looking for an identity, now. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this kid can go in and get himself established. Um kind of in the same way the young man in OKC is established in OKC. It's a smaller market, and he goes in maybe without a ton of pressure, but he can just go and ball out and make a name for himself with the Utah Jazz. What's the
Given
superstar name out at
uh
OKC?
SGA, Shea Gil-
Yeah, he was that type of guy that probably went in with not a lot of pressure, but he just went in and balled out, and now you know his name. You know what I'm saying? So maybe this guy can do some of the same things. I haven't seen his dimensions as far as his height, or something like that. He looks like a big guard,
6'6" and a
but
half.
yeah, so he's another big guard. These guys gonna have to really get it done on the defensive end. He averaged 11.9 points a game. They consider him a efficient scorer and a versatile defender with court vision.
He
You
calling
know.
Rich Paul right now. Man, get me up out of Utah.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. If they're gonna give him the ball right away, you might want to stay there. Maybe he can
Well,
make a name for himself and end up getting traded up out of there. Uh, Kind of sort of do the same thing Donovan Mitchell did. Who knows?
and he
He
stuck
can
it
be
out for
pro-
a minute, yeah.
he could probably be the next Donovan Mitchell in Utah.
And then
You
they blew
know?
that up because it was
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert. Remember they had Mike Conley running the point on that team. They
Hmm.
actually had a solid team. They just could never get past the second round. So they
Yeah.
had to go ahead and blow that thing up. All right, we
The,
got the
the the
Chicago Bulls.
the Bulls on the clock. So since the Bulls on the clock, I want to send a shout out to my man Dwayne Ransomford, Mr. Flip the Hood. Mr. Flip the Hood, man, he wears a lot of hats, man. A lot of hats. Entrepreneur, councilman in the city of East Chicago, Indiana. At one point, he wears a lot of hats. Shout out to my man Dwayne Ransomford.
Hold
And
up, man.
while I'm speaking on it, uh, my man Pastor Eric Boone, his business partner, and Pastor Williams, they all, they getting that money, man. They got a lot of business ventures going on in the city of East Chicago, real estate stuff like that. Dwayne Ransomford, shout out to my man Dwayne Ransomford for checking us out tonight. He liked the video so far. The
Man,
Bulls on the clock, and we gonna probably be wrapping it up shortly after that. Um,
they
Talking
showed the
about
Bulls team.
Chicago, it's a
You saw that the
huh?
team need. You saw they were showing the Bulls team needs, and then they showed Jordan highlights in the background. I'm like, Michael Jordan is not walking through that.
No, we're a long way from that, but you can't talk about the Bulls without talking about Mike. Speaking of that, we're talking about the Bulls. Once again, I had these conversations with my ball players. I'm gonna talk about Dominique Murphy again, a kid that I have the pleasure of coaching right now and being on the coaching staff with him at East Chicago Central High School. We had a conversation about the top. Who would you say would be your point guard, and
For the
who would you
Bulls,
say is the top five Chicago Bulls? If you had to say top five Chicago Bulls,
we talking about alt, so we talking Jordan Scotty.
yeah.
Jordan Scotty, Horace got to be up there.
Hmm.
Um, Tony got to be up there somewhere.
Tony Kukoc.
Yeah, Tony got to be up there.
Okay.
Uh, let me think. Now you know my Bulls knowledge only goes back to like 85, 6 or something like that. So let me.
O- Okay, but you can go beyond that. You ain't got to go too far back. Tell us what you know.
Derek got to be up there. Derek
Derek
Rose.
Rose.
I
Okay.
mean, is that four?
You said Tony, Scotty, Mike,
Yeah,
Derek Rose, and Horace, right?
yeah,
That's five,
yeah.
and I can't argue with that. But we talked about me and Dominique. We were talking about the career and the development of Lonzo Ball,
Uh-huh.
and of course he was drafted by the Lakers and then traded to New Orleans when LeBron came to LA. And I was telling Dominique that the Bulls got the best version of Lonzo Ball before he got injured.
Yeah.
And I don't get me wrong because Derrick Rose was an MVP of the league, but all time, if I had to put a team together,
Mm-hmm.
Lonzo Ball would be my point guard over Derrick Rose because he pushed pace and facilitated and hit the three. When he got injured, that's what he was doing, and he was a elite defender standing at 6'6". So I
But he only
told
played like 30
Dominique,
games though.
yeah, but I'm just saying that I'm talking about the caliber. I'm talking about the injury is the injury. I'm talking about the way he was playing at the time. He facilitated that team well, and if you got a facilitating point guard with Mike and Scotty and can defend the way he was and can still shot make the way he was before he got injured. That's I'd take him over Rose just for those reasons.
Would you
Because of the
put
way he played. He wasn't as ball dominant. And when he did have the ball, he sprayed it around. So I had Lonzo Ball, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, and I went with Artis Gilmore as my center.
okay? I was gonna say with Joakim Noah be on your team, he was defensive player of the year.
Well, Joakim Noah could play for that squad, but I'm gonna go with Artis Gilmore. I mean at the center position.
Okay, okay.
Um, because I couldn't argue with Derrick Rose either. I'm just talking about the way I like for my team to play. Derrick Rose had probably one of the best first steps in the history of the game. You know what I'm saying? But Lonzo Ball facilitated the hell out the ball. He could shoot the three. Wow.
Who they take?
Wow. Another guy, I can't pronounce his name. Wow. So the Bulls, I don't think this is going to go over well with the Chicago fan base.
No, this is Laurie marketing. This is
This is not
no.
going to go well. This
What's
is
no
not going to go well. He
what's
was a
number 40?
McDonald's All American, so he's a
Nah.
he's an American born basketball player, I guess. At 14 points a game, he was playing for G League Ignite. Another kid coming off the G League Ignite, so he might
That's
be
a
about
bad pick.
19, 20 years old. I don't know how tall this guy is, but I don't think this is gonna go over well
This is
with
Miritich again. Remember, they had Miritich. They
yeah.
had
Uh
Laurie marketing. He didn't pan. That's a bad pick.
I don't
That's
I
not.
don't think
Yeah,
I don't think this gonna go over well, man. I really don't. With the
yeah. Not
Chicago
not
Bulls
not when you
fan
had
base.
Dalton Connect still on the board.
Dalton
No,
Connect on the board. Bronny James on the board. You pass up Bronny James for this guy.
nah,
And
this
Dalton
ain't it.
Connect.
Yeah, this ain't
So,
the one.
man, hey, this ain't gonna go over well. I can hear him on the score in ESPN
1,000 a
1000.
month. Oh, they going ham.
Man, I can hear him scratching their head on this one.
I'm tuned in first thing in the morning. You know they about to start
Yeah,
going crazy
man.
right now because they probably
What's this
broadcasting the
guy's
draft now.
dimensions? What's his dimensions?
I
He's
think he like 6'6". Hold
let's
on, let me
see
get it
here.
for before I get
They
up
should
out
be
of here.
putting it up real
Six
soon.
6'9", 197.
Wow. And is he tough? Is he tough? I can't even see him being traded because I don't
Uh,
think no one we don't get me wrong, we don't know these guys like that. I don't know. I know Zach Eady, I know Bronny James, I know
Klinger,
Donovan Clingan just a little bit,
yeah.
and a few other guys that may come off the draft board later. But this guy, they say he was a McDonald's All American, and he went to the G League Ignite. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what they sell them to score. And they on 1000. Cap and Hood, them guys. It's gonna be really, really interesting.
Yeah,
Shout
that's
out
not
to my
the one.
man Pat the designer, because I know Pat might be tripping on this tonight. Him and P Kid. P Kid, them the boys on Windy City Breeze, man. Hopefully we can kick it with them dudes one day. But man, they gonna be tripping about this pick.
I'm in awe of it. Like I'm dumbfounded over this one. This is
Wow.
not the move. Not what who you had
Yeah.
still left on the
Yeah.
board.
So we going out with a bang, but the Bulls not. We going out with a bang because they sparked some head scratching around here. And this is our reaction to the Chicago Bulls pick at number 11 in the NBA 2024 NBA draft.
I got no words.
I
I got
can't
no
even
words.
pronounce the guy's name. We'll know it in the next 24 hours. I'm bet we'll know how to pronounce his name in the next 24 hours for sure. Because I think this was the Bulls' only pick in the draft,
Yes, it was.
and they could have done from a name standpoint. They probably could have done a ton better. So this guy has got a lot to prove. Talking about the Bulls' number 11 pick in the draft, they have not done well lately in the draft. The most recent guy that they picked up was Patrick Williams. That that's in the rotation, but he got injured. And I don't think this guy's going to have that much of an impact. I just don't know, man. I don't get it. Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah,
Yeah.
he can't believe it. Look at him. He can't even believe it. He cannot believe it. He's the number 11 pick in the draft to Chicago Bulls. And I don't even know what's the dude. I forgot his name already.
You see,
Can't pronounce
I
it.
just got my mouth open. Like I just knew
Man,
this is the
man.
Chicago Bulls. This is the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
This is the
Well,
Chicago Bulls.
we ready for some summer league and we ready for some football and we ready
No,
for the Olympics
we
coming
ready
up.
for football. We ready for If you are a Chicago Bulls fan, you are immediately tuning in to see no OTAs and stuff
Summer
over.
league. Yeah, you want to see? Don't that's the you. I'm most definitely gonna be watching some summer league now. I got to go back and watch some highlights of this guy, but uh,
that's bad. That's yeah.
yeah, I can hear him now. They can't believe it. Yeah, they went to the. They gonna go to the house that Jordan built. We
And
don't know
tear
who
it
the hell
down.
this dude is.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So it's been real tonight. We on your
Yeah.
time now.
Yeah, man. Let
Um,
me
Number
yeah.
12 pick coming up, and we gonna be winding up to finish this night off the rest of the season. We're gonna be looking forward to talking NFL football soon, but with NHL hockey coming to a close, was the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're gonna close like this because we about to wind it down. But the summer, what's left of the summer months, the way the WNBA is marketing Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Angel Reese having a hell of a basketball game in the last matchup they had with the Indiana Fever. I think Angel Reese had like 25 points and 16 rebounds. She did a hell of a job of making all the hype legitimate, giving the WNBA another superstar that they could market and look forward to along with Angel Reese. But my question is, if these two teams are not winning or going to make the playoffs, when playoff time come around, how is the WNBA going to stand? Because your two most marketable players may not make the playoffs. So with that being
I lost
said, as we
sound.
wrap up,
I lost
you
sound.
got
I lost
you can't
sound.
hear me?
Hold on.
You can hear me?
Am I back?
So with
Say something. I can't hear.
the WNBA the rest of the
Say
summer,
something.
they have the rest of the summer to get good on the market. And you got the NBA Summer League to compete with. You got Major League Baseball to compete with.
I ain't got no sound.
You also got the uh you also got the Olympics later on in the
My
summer.
sound went out.
Can you hear me
Hold on. Let
now?
me see something.
Can you hear me now? Because I can hear you. But it's gonna be interesting to see how they choose to finish marketing the WNBA because I just don't think that right now they're not talking about enough basketball. They're talking about a lot of controversial issues, and it's going to be question. It's going to be interesting to see how they finish up strong because now they have the rest of the summer along with Major League Baseball, and then going into later on in the summer you got the Olympics. So the WNBA is your time to shine. And how are they going to finish the summer uh, in popularity as you want to talk about the the WNBA championship because right now in the standings, I believe that the New York Liberty and the Connecticut Sun, Minnesota Lynx, the New York Liberty is at the top of the league in the WNBA, and right behind them is the Connecticut Sun and the Minnesota Lynx. I don't think they're giving them a ton of coverage right now, and I think it may come to hurt them later on in the season if Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever, can't make the playoffs, and it's going to be interesting. I just think, from a standpoint of basketball, the WNBA, they someone needs to talk more about basketball and more about the teams at the top of the league as they piggyback off the success of Caitlin Clark and now Angel Reese being two of the better young players in the league. So Penn is having issues with the sound on his end. So we'll be wrapping up shortly. I'm hoping he can get it straight. And if not, since he's running the show tonight, he's on the engineering standpoint. But I'm just gonna have to literally crash the show. So unfortunately, Penn won't be making it back. I can hear the music in the background. So he doing his thing on that end. Watch the game sports. Subscribe, share, like the videos as we wind down to the summer, getting ready for NFL football, NBA Summer League, and many other things, the Olympics. Watch the game sports. I'm your man, L.A. Cheatham, for Benjamin Banneker. Once again, shout out to my man, Dwayne Rancifer. He liked us up tonight. Like, share, subscribe on the videos. Watch the game.